There's a whole new list of residents in the building, which is protected by Department of Doppelgangers Detection, or short for Triple D. But weirdly, they are all the doppelgangers instead of the humans. There are many new secrets and achievements in the new update known as the Nightmare Mode, which in a way expands on a secret story. I made a video going over the potential story of the Nightmare Mode, which you can watch by hitting on the card above or the link in the description below. In this video, we'll go over all the doppelgangers and the secrets. On the first floor, apartment number 1, we have two residents, one being called Zesbeth Herbeth, a priest or monk-looking entity who specializes in eating souls. This entity lives with another and has a surgical stitching on his head, indicating some sort of brain alteration or surgery. He has a small nose, big sharp teeth, 2 tattoos, and a scar on his cheekbone. Encountering him, he seems impatient and agitated, paying little regard to the doorman, speaking down to him. His flatmate is someone called Drogia Floriti, a nightmare designer who has a very specific look. She has 7 pin-shaped eyes, with hand-like growths coming out of her head. She has 24 fingers, a small nose, and she has earrings. Not much can be speculated about who these two entities are, whether friends or more than friends, or simply just flatmates, but they would make a great couple. In the second apartment on the first floor, we have two entities as well. The first one is called Barbados Barabam, someone who enjoys hunting humans and possibly killing them, if not doing taxidermy on them or something more severe. He has 15 thorns on his head, a small nose, 2 tattoos, big sharp teeth, and small eyes. According to the size of his teeth, he can easily rip the flesh off any human he hunts, so it's possible he hunts and eats the humans he captures, enjoying a more natural way of choosing his food than popping in the nearby supermarket. His flatmate is called Exale Lanithro, someone who enjoys torturing. So, in a way, these two go perfectly together, as one hunts and possibly eats humans, and another enjoys torturing them. So maybe torturing the humans tenderizes the meat, preparing it for Barbados. And Barbados provides the human subjects to Exale to torture them. Exale looks like a popular media villain known as the Pinhead, having needles or nails in his face. Exale has dotted eyebrows, a prominent chin, tired eyes, and sharp teeth. Despite closing his mouth on his picture, when he talks, we can't see his sharp teeth, which is the only way to examine him, as sometimes the doppelgangers miss this part and it's the only way they can be identified. Moving on to the third apartment on this floor, we only have one monster by the name Abdosius Morel. Morel is a mutilator, which could be said is a form of torture, but he more specifically enjoys messing up the body. This fetish is seen through doing some modifications on his own body, enlarging his eyelids. Morel has a scar on his nose, possibly from surgeries he performs on himself, several piercings, and a big smile, showing his twisted mind on how he enjoys mutilations and extreme body modifications on himself and unconsensually on others. In the fourth apartment, we have a witch and a curse creator who yet again seem to be working together. The witch is called Lilith Lilith, who has a small pointed nose and pointed ears, having earrings and fangs, and also having 5 tattooed eyes below her own eyes, which seems strange and drawn on. Her flatmate, the curse creator, is called Anazarel, who has similar facial structure to the witch. She has a small pointed nose, but she has sharp teeth, tattoos, and 7 thorns. It seems as if Anazareth creates the curses and Lilith casts them on the people. Moving on to the second floor, we have Chanarfan, an elephant-looking entity who happens to be an occultist. He has the characteristics of a god, who has a trunk, ritualistic tattoos, tusks, and big ears. An elephant-looking entity who happens to be an occultist. His flatmate is Nayaktha Zamag, who happens to be a gravedigger. She has a round nose, several scars, possibly obtained from the nature of her job, curly hair, a round head, and thin eyebrows. In the second apartment, we have Zoth, a monk who specializes in rituals. Zoth almost looks identical, or at least identical characteristics to Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who is like an underdeveloped entity sitting on mechanical prosthetics or body. He has oversized facial features, but little hands on the chin. Moving on to the third apartment, we have by far one of the most interesting entities known as Shub, Nigorath. She causes famine, making people lose their crops and food. She essentially looks like Medusa, a Greek mythological being who turned men into stone by just looking at her. She correspondingly has snakes on her head and mesmerizing eyes who seem to manipulate people. And finally, on the last apartment on this floor, apartment 4, we have two entities. The first one is called Yog-Sothoth, who is a vampire. He has very stereotypical vampire-like characteristics, dark and goth-like look, and fangs sticking out of his mouth. His flatmate is called Guachel Utaus, who causes misfortune. She has a very interesting look with several eyes on her face and a halo above her head, as if giving her a contradictory saint-like look. She levitates and speaks telepathically, which could mean she has the ability to read minds as well. She seems to be one of the most powerful entities, as she has access to people's minds and can seemingly fly and cause misfortune, which is a very broad term, making people become unlucky. On the third floor, two people live in the first apartment. Yanlu Wang Dig, who is a princess of death. She has a small nose, teeth in her cheeks, which means that her mouth can open a lot wider for eating larger prey. She has no pupils, and of course she has sharp teeth. Her flatmate is someone by the name of Orcus Despater, who simply enjoys collecting skins. This entity wears a mask covering half his face. He has bright eyes, a long smile, and dark skin, and of course, he looks like the purple guy, William Afton, in the Springtrap suit. Interestingly, he enjoys collecting skins, and William of course stepped into an animatronic suit himself, so they share a lot of resemblances. In the second apartment, we have Eshtar Ereskigal, who is one of the most horrifying entities in the nightmare mode. She causes pests and has a long nose and smile, a round head, curly long hair, and big void-like eyes. She also has sharp teeth, similar to majority of the entities. In the third apartment live two entities. Tautates Taranes, an annihilator who possibly causes large-scale devastation and destruction. He has face tattoos, a serious gaze, long nose, sharp teeth, and long hair. He lives with Upach Zelbalba, who is a bone breaker. It's not clear why he has been labeled as such, but it's a weird fascination to have such an obsession, to just break bones. Upach wears a scary mask. He has a round face, short hair, and pinpointed eyes. Finally, in the last apartment, we have Dagda Crumb Crouch and Ezanami Yomi. Dagda is a scarecrow who terrifies the souls, as he labels himself being a soul scarecrow, and Ezanami is someone who enjoys to deform faces very specifically, having such a twisted fascination. Ezanami has long hair, a big nose, round chin, and a pale face. These are all the residents of the building, which they refer to as the Astral Circle. However, there are some special entities which can be encountered randomly in the playthroughs. There are a few VIPs who act very strangely. One is Peach, who is called Peach, and all he says is Peach. Nothing else and nothing more. So there's not much to go with in here. The other is 42, who is a lot more mysterious, having a deformed, twisty face. He wears a fedora and a suit and a tie. This is related to the novel known as The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which essentially means the number 42 is the ultimate meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Finally, we have the nurse, who also has a deformed face called Zuchilbara Lopsel Vith, looking similar to the Silent Hill nurses. The nurse is a lot more interesting, who has an entry request written in Latin. Translating the text, this is what we get. The man offered the serpent to the sun and begged for salvation. The woman offered the reed to the sun and asked for joy, out of compassion for the sorrowful emotion which subdued the earth. A god was born from those two persons. The entity is a growth or formation on the wall, which in a way crashes the game when it suddenly jump scares and kills the doorman after it fully develops. The achievement is called Headache because the entity makes an annoying sound when killing the doorman and acts like a headache, randomly killing the protagonist with no option in hand. The clown is a mysterious character who appears and asks the doorman if he wants to play a game. If the protagonist refuses, it makes the clown upset, showing his disdain with a frown. He just stands there until the doorman calls the cleanup crew. When that happens, the clown shows its great power by killing the cleanup crew and ridiculing Triple D and the doorman by using a cleanup crew head to pretend to be one of them, saying how the cleanup has been done successfully. On the other hand, if the protagonist accepts to play the clown's card game, if he fails to win, the clown easily breaks the glass and kills the doorman in a savage way. But if the doorman manages to beat the clown, he survives to see another day, with the clown keeping its word and leaving him alone. There's a levitating entity who approaches the gate saying the words 3 times over and over again. If the protagonist calls the cleanup crew on her, she keeps on appearing. If the doorman lets her through, she comes back 2 more times until she is let in 3 times in total. This doesn't have any direct impact on the doorman or the neighbors. Another entity appears known as Chester. Chester asks bizarre questions which do not have any direct impact on the gameplay if answered correctly or incorrectly. The answers are as followed. Last name of the man behind the face of the mask known to the internet users. This is in reference to the anonymous mask commonly referred to as the Guy Fawkes mask. Which number would give you the victory in a contest of writing the largest number with the conventional rules of the Roman numeral system? Triple M, D, Triple C, L, Triple X, V, Triple I. 3,888 is the biggest number which can be written in the Roman numeral system. The name of the hairiest lieutenant of World War II, Wojtek. Wojtek was a Syrian brown bear which was brought from Iran by the Polish army and enlisted as a private so that they could afford his rations. Temple where once a god caused the largest pandemic ever seen in all the Great Dark and Beyond, Zolgorod. This is in reference to a dungeon in World of Warcraft. Clave name of the multicellular organism with the ability to clone anything hit touches its rhizome. SCP-038. SCP-38 is a tree which has the ability to clone anything that touches its trunk. How many numbers are formed with the digits of the cardinality of the parts of a set with the first perfect and happy number of elements? 45,360. Now focusing more on Chester, it's been confirmed by the devs that his look was inspired by a character in GTA San Andreas, known as the Truth. Chester is also hinted to be a human and a time traveler, as he wears a peace sign which should be created in 1958, with the current time actually being 1955. So that means Chester knows the future and has come back at least 3 years from the future. Now this leaves us with the hooded man that passes a letter with the title "Do Not Trust Them," referring to the Department of the Doppelgangers detection. The website that it leads to is shrouded in mystery and in encrypted text, so we're gonna get back to that a little bit later in another video. So make sure to stay tuned for that video by hitting on the subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, it's been your host Star, thanks for being here, and I will see you in another video. Have a fantastic day.